We read in Politico that Ontario Premier Doug Ford threatened to shut off his province's electricity exports to the United States and block shipments of Ontario's high-grade nickel, which he said provides 50% of U.S. supplies. This is per the Globe and Mail. He added, if they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do anything, including cutting off their energy. This is energy to the United States, with a smile on his face. With us now is the man, I guess, behind that smile, Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario in Canada. Premier, thank you so much for being with us. Okay, what are your plans and how far are you willing to take it?
Well, first of all, I have to tell you, Canadians love Americans. We love the U.S. It's one person that's causing these problems. I've talked to senators and congresspeople and governors, Republicans and Democrats. Not one of them agree with them. I've talked to business CEOs of the largest companies. They totally disagree with this. And President Trump ran on a mandate to lower costs, to create more jobs. This is going to do exactly the opposite. The auto sector, we buy over 400% more autos than Mexico, 200% more than anywhere in the world. And, you know, he put up a smoke screen. He keeps moving the goalposts. Well, the market is speaking loud and clear. The market is going to go downhill faster than the American bobsled team, and we're going to continue seeing in the U.S. plants close, assembly lines shut down. In the auto sector, they may last 5, maybe 8 days before the parts that go back and forth across the border 8 times. This is unnecessary, and we do have to retaliate. And I apologize to the American people. It's not you. It's your president that's causing this problem. We're the #1 customer in the world to the United States. We had a great relationship. I want to continue on with that relationship, but I will use every tool in our toolbox to send a message to President Trump that this is the wrong thing to do. When Warren Buffett comes out and says this is basically insanity, you have to listen to someone like Warren Buffett.
So some of the thinking inside the administration goes something along the lines of, in the United States, we can withstand more pain than you can in Canada. So how much pain can you withstand here?
Well, we have the lowest debt in the G7. The United States have more debt than anyone. He wants to come and get a tax break, put a tax break through. He's relying on 2 Congress people. He loses 2 people. That's it. These tax breaks aren't going. And he's doing this on the backs of the American people. He's going to create job losses. Inflation's going up. The market's dropping. Gas prices are going up. Groceries are going up. For what? We have a very fair trading balance. And if we exclude the energy, the oil that we ship down 4.3 million barrels a day to keep cars going, the U.S. has a $55 billion surplus on everything else, on manufacturing. And I'm fine with that. 55 billion is fine, but we're your #1 customer to 28 states. I've directed our office to take off all the alcohol. We're the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We sell to 30, we buy from 35 states, 3,600 products, over $1 billion. They're coming off. We directed our team to pull off the $30 billion of contracts and not use any American companies. And again, I apologize to the American people, but the red states, the people have to start calling their senators, their governors, and congresspeople to stop this insanity that one person's causing.
What do you understand the demands to be? On the one hand, we've heard over the last few weeks it's cracking down on the border, going after fentanyl distribution. Now the president is saying he wants much of the manufacturing returned to the United States. What do you think the ask is?
Well, you can't, in the auto sector, and no one knows what the ask is. It depends on what he wakes up and eats in the morning, and that changes. You know, the auto sector, you can't unscramble an egg that's been made since the 1960s in the auto pack and expect plants to just open up. We buy as many cars as we sell down to the U.S. It's been working. It's a great system that we have right now with all the auto sectors, but it'll only last 8 to maybe 10 days at the max, and then you're going to see auto plants being shut down. I wish we knew what the president wanted. We need to sit down and move forward on the USMCA and put this behind us.
I just got to ask you, very briefly, How upset, how mad are Canadians? Canadians aren't usually the types to get angry, but how mad are Canadians this morning?
They're absolutely livid. They're furious because we look at the United States as our family. We're one big family. We've stood shoulder to shoulder in wars and every other crisis there is. We love the American people, but unfortunately, the president has gone sideways on ourselves. And we power, Ontario powers 1.5 million homes and businesses in New York, in Michigan, in Minnesota. I've talked to all three governors. I want to ship more electricity. I want to send more critical minerals, but I will not hesitate to use every tool in our toolbox to protect Ontarians and Canadians across the board. I've never seen patriotism run so wild across our country. Right down to the grocery aisles, people refuse to buy American products. This is not right. We love America, we love the people, and the president needs to be stopped. Simple as that.
Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario and Canada, we do appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us. Again, we continue to watch the U.S. markets now off their lows by a little bit, but still dropping precipitously after the open.
The top U.S. trading partners are hitting back at President Trump's overnight tariffs. Right now, out on Wall Street, investors are weighing this new exchange of tariffs with Mexico, Canada, and China. The Dow already down more than 500 points, and the markets just opened. And inflation-weary Americans could soon feel the squeeze on their wallets big time. Prices of food, electronics, and big-ticket items like cars all potentially going up and up. And there's more breaking news right now. Target becoming the latest top retailer to issue a specific warning about the U.S. economy.
Working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see. And now, to my fellow Canadians, I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed to help. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will defend Canadian jobs. We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers. We will relentlessly fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day, because this country is worth fighting for. Les derniers mois ont été
The
stressants
recent months
et
have been
honnêtement
stressful
épuisants
and, in fact,
pour nous
exhausting
tous.
for all of us.
Mais je crois qu'on peut
But I believe
être rassuré.
So
we
as
can be
the
reassured.
leader of Canada goes into the French translation of essentially what he just said, including a message directly to Donald Trump. I want to thank Dominic Chu, who's been with us. And Garrett, the message to Donald Trump directly from the leader of Canada, where he quotes the Wall Street Journal saying, you may be very smart, but this is a very dumb move. I presume that we can expect some reaction from the president or from the White House any minute now.
Yeah, I don't bet on politics, Jose, but if I did, that seems like a pretty safe wager. I mean, here you see Justin Trudeau using kind of two of the most tried and true tactics to break through to President Trump, addressing him directly on television, knowing his remarks are being carried live on televisions throughout the West Wing, and referencing the conservative media outlets that Donald Trump likes to read. Trump and Trudeau have had no love for each other since the president's reelection. The president repeatedly joking about Trudeau personally, about Canada becoming the 51st state. And here you see the president or the prime minister has been treated as a bit of a punching bag, punching back. Candidly, I don't know how effective it'll be at changing the president's mind, but it certainly seems engineered to get his attention.
Yeah, and I mean, Prime Minister Trudeau also, even during the first Trump administration, had no kind moments and kind words for the president at different G7 meetings, et cetera. I want to bring in Eddie Glaude, a professor at Princeton University. He is also an MSNBC contributor. And we're going to talk, Eddie, if we could, a little bit about this trade war that is really becoming very hot as of right now. Eddie, how do you read this?
I honestly I can't make sense of it. There is this sense in which Donald Trump has this belief that tariffs can be effective. Most economists across the ideological spectrum disagree with him. He's going to bring a certain kind of pain to the American people. And I think this is an interesting contrast between what Justin Trudeau just said and what we're not hearing from our president. He just told the Canadian people that this is going to be rough, that it's going to have an impact on their economy. And then he promised them that he will.
Hi, Donald. Behind me is the border. On this side of the border, we do things differently. Canadians take care of each other. So over here, our healthcare is free. Our kids, our parents, if they need surgery, all we pay for is the parking. True, parking can be a little too expensive, but over there, people who can't afford healthcare go bankrupt. They have to sell their homes. I bet there are more people on that side of the border who believe in our system than vice versa. So instead of trying to make Canada the 51st state, you can take some notes.
I mean, I can't express to you how united Canadians are right now. I brought you people from 3 different political parties, broadly from the center-right liberals, the right-wing conservatives, and the progressive Democrats, right? All of them are basically saying that Donald is destroying the country, he's destroying his own country, he's being an idiot, and we need to respond to him in kind. And here's what's really interesting. By and large, the Americans I've been speaking to and reading from, at the very least, understand why Canada is retaliating. But in some cases, you support it. Like, I think we all understand this is not good for basically anybody across the country. It's really across the border. It's not good for anybody in Canada. It's not good for anybody in the USA. It's not good for anybody in Mexico. Let's remember that as well. They're being affected by this too. We need to remember that. But they also understand that you can't just let a country impose massive unilateral tariffs on the entire economy, essentially, and let them get away with it. The Americans wouldn't tolerate that, and neither should Canada, neither should Mexico, and neither should anybody else. So Canada is going to respond, guys, and it's going to get worse. When you have conservatives, liberals, and the progressive New Democrats talking about this in Canada in the same tone, you've awoken a beast.